at first, I thought this was kind of stupid, and I thought it was kind of a marketing gimmick. But the more I look at the new X4, it's kind of growing on me. Yesterday, I couldn't figure how to include this in yesterday's video, so I'm going to include it in today's. But yesterday, Savannah and I actually shot like a couple shoot, and it was literally like 50 feet from our house, which was incredible. One of the things that we wanted to do when we first moved to our new apartment was to be able to utilize the surrounding areas. That way, we just didn't have. If you don't have to go and get into the car to go like work or go to a shoot, that's always a good thing. And if you've ever had to do it, then you definitely can. You can understand why we would want to take advantage of the nice area that we have around us. All that being said, yesterday's shoot was great. This is like footage from our cheap little $50 camera. I've said this multiple times, but I love how nostalgic this little camera looks, and it's literally just a point-and-shoot camera. It's great. Talking about cameras, I wanted to kind of do like a first reaction or just my initial impressions on the new Insta360 X4. Now, to give you, I don't have the camera. I've never used the camera. I'm just going purely on what I've seen online. And if I'm being completely honest, when I first found out that the X4 was coming out, I really thought it was kind of a stupid, pointless upgrade. But after looking at the footage, the more I look at the footage, the more I kind of actually want the camera. If you look at the footage from the X3 to the X4 on any creators, like anybody that's made videos about it, it's obviously very there's a noticeable difference. Now, a lot of it could be because it's shooting in 8K, like the new X4 shoots in 8K versus the X3 shoots in 5.4K, which is pretty much what every other Insta360, like modern Insta360 camera shoots in. And when I originally heard that and they were making a big deal about the 8K, I was like, okay, but how much greater is this going to be? Like, is this just a marketing gimmick? And I have to say, after looking at the footage, I don't know what they're doing, but it looks incredible. Like there's just more depth to it. It just looks, beyond it looking crisper, like everything just looks a lot more detailed and it looks a lot more immersive. One of the reasons that I love shooting with this camera, the Sony a7S III, is because of how much depth there is within the image. That's, to me, that's the way you can tell. You can really tell if a camera's cheap or not, just based on like how like in depth the footage really looks. There's a lot of the stuff that the X4 does, like the slow-mo, the improved battery life, and all that stuff. I think it's really cool. But honestly, I really don't care about any of that. The only thing that I care about is how the camera actually looks and how does it actually function. Now, traditionally, the Insta360X line is really simple. I mean, hang on here, I gotta grab these things real quick. Oh, here we go, coming back now. I don't have the X line, but I have a couple of different cameras that I use all the time from Insta360, like the One RS, the Insta360 Go 3, and I have to say, both of these cameras are incredibly easy to use. They're incredibly dependable, and the image they produce is great. I mean, it's totally adequate. I will say that I can notice a difference when I'm shooting with this. Like if I go from like the camera that you're on right now, which is the a7S III, to this, or even to this, I can notice a difference. But I think with the X4, it would get really, I would imagine, based on the footage that I'm seeing online, it would be pretty difficult to distinguish what camera like that was shot on. And it's an Insta360, it's a 360 camera, meaning that you pretty much are shooting everything around you. And honestly, the audio isn't terrible. I mean, with this camera, the audio isn't terrible. I don't know what they're doing, but the audio from this camera sounds pretty decent. And I think it could be a really viable option if you wanted to use that as like a vlogging camera or whatever other camera whatever else you'd want to do with it. I think it could really hold its own. And it's also super robust because of the action camera aspect of it. So, I mean, all that being said, I think the camera is actually growing on me. At first, I thought this was kind of stupid, and I thought it was kind of a marketing gimmick. But the more I look at the new X4, it's kind of growing on me. If you are considering buying the X4 or trying it out, let me know. And let me know what you would use it for. I feel like with 360 cameras, the application is it's like you can do so much with them that it can also almost be kind of daunting. And I feel like the people that use them all the time use them for very unique things. So if you could get one, let me know. Let me know what you would use it for, because I would be interested to maybe try doing that with my own stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if this was technically a review. This is more of like a reaction video, I guess. I need to stop looking at footage from this because I'm going to end up buying one. We have an agreement we're not buying anything this month because taxes just came out and we had to pay a bunch of... At any event, we're on a strict no spending budget, and that is $500 that we do not need to spend. You know, the more I think about the Insta360 X4, the more I think about it, the more like potential things I could use it for, like, pop in my head. Like, a good example would be like running. Like, it would be incredibly easy and incredibly quick to just like have that and just stick it out and get any kind of angle that I want. Again, because the beauty of 360 cameras is you don't have to really frame anything, because you can frame it after the fact. And also, like, one of my big gripes about the small Insta360 cameras that I use are the viewfinders aren't great, and I'm kind of just shooting blind, which is totally fine. But if I'm given the option to have like a bigger screen, then obviously I'm going to take it. I think the thing that excites me more than like the actual like X4 coming out is where like camera technology is actually going. Like, I think we're in a place where the cameras are getting so good and they're getting so small, and you can do so much with just one camera that it's just going to enable creators, it's going to enable people to be able to really do whatever they really want to do with the cameras. And to me, that's the thing that always excites me, is like whenever there's like an evolution or a jump in quality, like the X4 going from 5.4K to 8K, I think that we're seeing like the beginning stages of a new wave of cameras. Now, how useful is the 8K right now? I don't really know, but I think it's definitely a cool little look into what the future could be. I mean, and also like with the Insta360, like if you don't know how they work, it's shooting in 8K, but that doesn't mean you're going to get an 8K image out of it. Like when you pick your angle, it's obviously going to bring the resolution down, but it's going to be closer to what this camera shoots in, and I think that's really cool. And like I said, I think that's just like the future of what cameras are going to be, and that's exciting. I mean, that's really cool. It's really windy out here, so I'm gonna go back inside. Like I'm freezing right now. It's like